Дайте пацанам посчитать потери. Суммы нули погибают на сцене. Снова один, прогуляюсь без тени. Заливаю лик, поцелуй на шее. Капли дамба, правда назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степь многояд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя. Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери. Суммы нули погибают на сцене. Снова один, прогуляюсь без тени. Заливаю лик, поцелуй на шее. Капли дамба, правда назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степь многояд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя. Hey, babe. Эти понты покупались во рту. Твои мозги затупились к утру. Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери. Суммы нули погибают на сцене. Снова один, прогуляюсь без тени. Заливаю лик, поцелуй на шее. Капли дамба, правда назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степь многояд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя. Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери. Суммы нули погибают на сцене. Снова один, прогуляюсь без тени. Заливаю лик, поцелуй на шее. Капли дамба, правда назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степь многояд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя. Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери. Суммы нули погибают на сцене. Снова один, прогуляюсь без тени. Заливаю лик, поцелуй на шее. Капли дамба, правда назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степь многояд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя. Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери. Суммы нули погибают на сцене. Снова один, прогуляюсь без тени. Заливаю лик, поцелуй на шее. Капли дамба, правда назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степь многояд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя.
North Korea, right?
Yeah.
Here's another example that here in the West, we're told that there's a wall around North Korea. They're not allowed to use the internet. We don't know what's going on in North Korea because we're not told what's going on in North Korea. But yeah, actually we are. Yes, they can use the internet. Yes, there are YouTube creators in North Korea showing us a look inside this country, showing us a look at their society that's so forbidden here in the West. And just, was it yesterday that CNN did a piece basically, you know, demonizing this beautiful young woman who has a very popular YouTube channel. And they were trying to make it look like it was something bad.
I saw this piece on CNN.com and I was just like, I couldn't believe it. This 15-year-old girl, she calls herself Olivia Natasha Yumi. I mean, you know, that's, you know, she has a YouTube channel. She's obviously learning to speak English and she's made YouTube videos about like what daily life is about in North Korea. So CNN decided to warn us about how dangerous this YouTube channel was. It's propaganda. And I read the CNN article on my stream and people were just cracking up. I mean, it sounded like, you know, they're not what they seem. This is propaganda. Beware the North Korean YouTubers. And so I pulled up, I showed people the video. This is what CNN warned us to be very weary of. This is the dangerous propaganda we're not supposed to.
You want to see this?
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's look at some North Korean communist propaganda here.
Good morning. I'm up for jogging. Every Sunday, I come to Daejeon River to jog. These days, the weather is getting cooler and it feels sweet in some fresh air. Angling, it looks interesting. 저 할아버지 거기를 몇 마리 사오셨습니까? How embarrassing! I totally got annoyed.
I just got to pause this right here. If this was the United States, there would be a tent city underneath that bridge. There would be random crazy homeless people coming up to her and trying to get, panhandling for some cash, right? There'd be random crazy people yelling crazy things. There'd be trash everywhere. Look how clean it is. Look how lovely their city is.
I wonder if it's really that interesting. Today is Sunday and I will go angling this afternoon. I guess I can do it alone. Oh, my neighbor often goes angling and he's pretty good at it. I will join him today. Oh, 요즘 벌써 부족해. 여기서 잡으면 되나요?
좀 어려울 것 같아. 장소가 중요하지 뭐. 고기를 잘 잡으려면 장소가 중요해. 이 자리에서 하자.
네.
여기가 좋을 것 같아. 자, 여기서 미끼를 자.
네.
In the United States, would you trust fish that you catch out of the municipal water supply?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Would you eat that fish? Yeah. Look how clean the water is, guys.
고기를 잡으려면 미끼를 어떻게 쓰는가가 중요하단다. 이거 보고 똥미끼라고 하는데 강제가루, 콩가루, 본디기가루, 그다음에 tum숭을 보상하려고 균성 강제가루, 알파가루 하지 뭐 섞어서 물을.
I'm feeling so threatened right now.
I know. I mean, this is like the maniacal propaganda that you're supposed to watch. I mean, it's like, I mean, if you read the article, yeah.
It's just, I'm feeling so threatened by these North Korean communists right now. They're so scary.
And it's like, you read the article and they're all just like, she's not giving a real picture of North Korea, blah, blah, blah. It's like, what is she supposed to do? This is a teenage girl in North Korea. She's got a YouTube channel. She's trying to show people what her life is like. She's practicing her English skills. Like, is she supposed to get on there and be like, my country sucks. My government is evil. Please nuke us, America. Please invade our country. Like, what is she supposed to do? Like, and I just saw this and I'm just like, and also like, I mean, this is like kind of cancel culture. She's got a YouTube channel. She's on there. She's not talking about politics. She's not reading us the glorious teachings of Kim Jong-un or anything. She's talking about how she likes to eat popsicles and how she loves Harry Potter books. Let the girl do what she wants to do. Like, why does CNN, why are they so threatened by this? They had to do like this big hit piece to warn us not to watch Yumi's YouTube channel. That just shows you how like determined they are to make sure the only image we're ever supposed to have of North Korea is those guys goose stepping as they walk down the military parades. The country is just one big military parade that never ends, and it's missiles shooting off and military parades and Kim Jong-un speaking to crowds of people that are saluting him with their fists or something. It's like they have very carefully decided what we're allowed to think North Korea is. Yumi, on the other hand, wants to say, yeah, we have parades. Yeah, we believe in communism, but we also go fishing. We also go to water parks and amusement parks. And I just want to show you what my life is like. And CNN is just adamant. That's not allowed. We cannot have this. It was infuriating to me to see. So I decided to make fun of that on my stream. And I think people should make fun of it. And the other thing is, like, let's hypothetically speaking, let's say that, North Korea, and they do have a lot of problems in North Korea. Let's not pretend they don't. It's a very authoritarian, rigid society. If you want human rights in North Korea, and if you want North Korea to be more open, isn't Yumi starting her YouTube channel a good thing? right? Because she's going to connect with young people from America and young people from Canada, and she's going to talk to them, and there's going to be more understanding between Americans and Canadians and North Koreans. And like, this is a good thing that she has a YouTube channel, right? We're always hearing about how isolated North Korea is. They're cut off from the rest of the world and all this. Here's a teenage
This is
girl
why.
and she makes a YouTube channel, and CNN is like, determined to like just stomp on it. No, we cannot have this. I mean, it's the article is practically, requesting YouTube to ban her channel.
Pretty much.
Something. Yeah. I mean, it's like you read it and it shows you that they are just not being fair at all. That's what I saw. And it just shows you how over the top. And, they say our media is so free and open and it's not propaganda, I mean, if this is not, if the attempt to squash this girl's YouTube channel and to warn us and inoculate us against it, if that's not propaganda, I don't know what it is.
Right. And here's just they want to cancel a 15-year-old kid for, putting out videos of her going fishing with her grandpa.
Yeah.
That's wholesome.
제가 든 약지를 이렇게 걸고 지지 손가락에 이렇게 걸고 키를 제낀다. 키를 제끼고 이렇게 하고 던지는 순간에 던져버리는 거지? 저 던지는 순간에 이 손가락 놀아.
네.
던지라.
She's darling. She's so cute.
그거 남자친구예요? I was taught that September is time for money. I'm so curious what kind of fish is in store for me. Today I'm going to catch my first fish, of course with the help of my neighbor. I have played fishing game on smartphone before, but today I challenge the real fishing.
Are we supposed to be like analyzing this for the subliminal propaganda messages? There's like subliminal propaganda, right? It's like, like.
That's a surveillance fish.
Right. I guess
Right?
we should be eating Tide
Kim
Pods,
Jong-un's
right? Like
spying on
Americans.
them.
Right. She should be eating Tide Pods like American teenagers,
This is
right?
the
Or,
first fish
I mean,
I
this
caught
is,
in my life.
right? I
It's
mean,
not that big, but I'm just very latest. This may be why people enjoy angling.
right? I mean, she's not on there like complaining about her parents and
I'm here to have
she's not
fun,
on there like
have
bullying her
conversation.
classmates or something. Like what's wrong with her? Clearly. I mean, it's just
That is such a great point, Caleb. And, that's probably enough. But I wanted to show people that you compare her to your average 15-year-old American girl. First of all, she's so modest. And that's something I noticed in a lot of communist countries and even in Russia, which isn't a communist country anymore. But, they're much more modest in the way that they dress, the way that they talk. You don't hear them cursing. You don't see them twerking. They don't act like that. Our American teenage girls are depressed, lonely, insecure about themselves, their bodies. They're not as well educated, I think. They don't present themselves as young ladies, which is one of my pet peeves. It's that degeneration of our Western culture. And then I see someone like her, and I often watch videos from North Korea and China, and I notice that about their society. They dress up when they go out. You don't see people walking down the street in Pyongyang wearing their pajamas like we do.
Yeah, I mean, look, of course, she's obviously going to present her country in a positive light. She knows that American media and English-speaking media in general shows her country in a very negative light. She probably feels it's her responsibility to show it in the best light possible, and she's not going to show, negative things. And who's to say she's always so happy and, off the camera? But it's not like she's lying. I mean, she's not on there saying, oh, no one is ever sad in North Korea. Babies never cry in North Korea. I mean, she's not doing that, of course. She's just trying to communicate with the outside world and show that we're people too. Here I am fishing with my grandpa, and it seems pretty wholesome and decent. And the fact that we had to get warned about why not to watch it, I just found to be infuriating. Another thing I will say is that I have noticed this, and that, in the Soviet Union, they had a school of art they called socialist realism, right? And like the montage was invented by Sergei Eisenstein. He was a great Soviet filmmaker. You had the music of Shostakovich, was a great composer, and they did a lot to promote the arts, the symphony. The Moscow subways, they've restored them to be exactly as they were when Stalin first built them. They're beautiful. I mean, compare them to the New York City subways that smell like urine, and you got, it's very different. And that, in the socialist countries of the world, there is a real effort to promote beauty. And Roosevelt did that in America too. If you look at, during the Great Depression in America, they put up a lot of, they paid artists to do a lot of paintings, and in post offices, they have, these murals that were painted during that period. They're just beautiful.
And some still exist. There's one at my local post office that was a WPA project from the 30s, been beautifully restored. And this is the kind of public art that we haven't seen in this country since the Roosevelt years.
Yeah. And that there was just a feeling that the state had an obligation to kind of make people better, to make the country more beautiful, to make people smarter, to promote science and technology, to just kind of, it was their job to kind of guide things. And that artists and writers and musicians and people like that, they had a responsibility to try and make society better with their art. That was their responsibility. Now it's the opposite. In a lot of ways, I would argue that our art, in a lot of ways, it is like lowered down to the most common denominator to make sure that a profit can be made from it, to make sure that those who are investing in it are not taking any risk. That's why Hollywood makes the same movie over and over and over again. How many sequels are there? Because they don't want to take the risk. If you have a new idea, that might not work. You're taking a chance on it. Plus, I've argued that, they argue like tofu is like a food that can go anywhere. It's like a replacement food, right? And I would argue that that we have learned in American media, grossness is like a replacement, right? Instead of coming up with a good joke, right, that's just really clever and funny, you just have someone say something really, really gross about genitalia or feces or something like that, and you don't have to come up with a really good joke. You just grossed everybody out, and we laugh because we're uncomfortable and it's a joke. And right. And the same with like violence, right? If instead of coming up with a really, intense plot that's very exciting, that has you on the edge of your seat, you just have a lot of violence and blood and gore, and it has a similar effect. And horror, right? Instead of coming up with a very scary story, Edgar Allan Poe, a very, very scary premise that, instead of doing that, they just come up with, you got Saw 2, Saw 3, Saw 25, and it's blood and gore. And that we've learned that grossness is like this filler. It's this shortcut where you don't have to actually do the work of being an artist. And whether you're a comedian or a Hollywood writer or whatever. And we've learned that. And I feel like it's a lazy way of being, but it's more of a secure investment, right? It doesn't take the risk. And that's the problem. And that our society has become increasingly more and more gross as a society, because gross is the easy way out. And
I would add to that also that love and romance has been swapped out for just casual sex.
Yep.
The sexualization of everyone, but especially the youth, which I find very disturbing.
Yeah, I would agree.
Shopping with your teenage daughter, you go to the store and see what's on the shelf. A lot of moms of my generation would be like, I'm not going to let my kid wear that to school. But Mom, everybody's wearing it. This is what's hip. This is what's cool. And it's teaching young girls to dress and act like sluts. And that's just not a thing in Asian culture. It's not a thing in Russian culture either. They're taught to act like young ladies and to dress like young ladies.
in a universe full of ideas. We draw lightness from the dark to a place where opposites attract. Right meets left, positive touches negative, sparking an explosion of truth. Because politics makes strange bedfellows.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.